industry way of doing business is cool for them. We're just an alternative. And the first rule with us is that there are no rules. The main thing that I want to stress is there are no contracts.
How old are you, Pablo?
I am 39.
What was your relationship to Prince before you saw this movie?
Extraordinarily minimal.
What was your relationship to Prince after having seen this movie?
My main sensation watching it was, this is one of the most impressive artists that has ever lived.
This is the thing that I just find galling. I mean, I can't get past this, of like the short-sightedness of a group of people whose interest is their own bottom line.
For the first time in the history, I would say truly, honestly, in the history of American popular music, this is the first document we've ever been given about the experience of being a pop star. This is the only one that actually tells you what that's like.
My name is Prince. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today into this thing called life.
The image I've had in my head is the last shot of Raiders of the Lost Ark, of just a huge warehouse somewhere in Netflix, a crate, and just like put away.
The afterworld. A world of never-ending happiness.
I'm like, this is a gift. Everything about who you believe he is in this movie. You get to bathe in his genius.
Yeah.
And yet you also have to confront his humanity.
Ezra Edelman, you want to explain why you're here?
No.
Disappointing news for Minnesota music fans. A 9-hour Netflix documentary about Prince's life will not be released.
Fine. Maybe I need a shot at tequila. No, I think the problem is this is a runaway train. Or has it already hit us and we don't know it?
That means I take out the trash, try to make sure I oversee editorials, try to build out digital, everything.
I just want to sort of like zoom way out,
Please.
and talk about the real problem here, which is that nobody is ever going to see this movie.
Are most of the kids in favor of the picketing?
Yep, and I think they should get some more money because they be working extra hours for us.
And the Oscar goes to O.J. Made in America, Ezra Edelman and Caroline Waterlow.
Please welcome Ezra Edelman.
All right, that guy Ezra Edelman, who's like
he's great,
phenomenal filmmaker.
One of America's most celebrated filmmakers.
Arguably the best documentarian in America.
I think OJ is the most brilliant doc, sports or non, that I've ever seen.
As much as it really does explain and encapsulate, 4 or 5 decades about race in America, it also sort of really speaks to, America as a whole and the interconnectedness of all these themes. For me, that initial concept, that canvas that was being offered, it told me, oh, I can go backwards. I can go and tell the history. I can go tell this story about the LAPD and the black community in Los Angeles. I can examine OJ's rise to fame as a football star and as a commercial pitchman and really parse his racial identity. But in the end, I will still come down on I'm not quite answering your question, but I still come down on the idea that it's all a good thing that puts the idea of documentary as a foremost medium in the minds of viewers who now, documentaries are more prevalent and popular than ever. Now, what documentary means in terms of what is a different question, but I think that the sort of evolution of it has been good.
I've been watching that new OJ show. I can't get enough of that shit.
I was watching the OJ documentary.
Everything that went into the OJ trial. It's fucking nuts.
So forgive me if I was a bit touched last night, in the most euphoric of ways, of course, when the 5-part documentary OJ Made in America took home an Oscar. Not just because of its excellence, but also because of its truth.
And, you know, if someone calls you up and says, hey, what do you think about Prince? We have his entire vault that's never been accessed or seen. And then I'm like, I also know Prince is basically this mysterious figure. And I know that his story, in some ways, hasn't really ever been told. There's a reason why Prince's story has never been told.
This was happening a little earlier tonight. Prince's arrival at the Mann Theater in Hollywood.
Prince was not someone in life that was interested in sharing. He cultivated an air of mystery, and he did it in a pretty impressively consistent, domineering and ironclad way. How did we get from a teenage virtuoso genius who was the youngest artist signed by Warner Brothers and given complete creative control to a guy who died of a drug overdose in an elevator in Paisley Park, in essence died in a box within a box that he built? There's a responsibility and obligation to me as a filmmaker, as a documentarian, to answer the question, well, how did that happen? No one knows who this dude was. I'm gonna try to figure it out.
I've never had an artist who I felt I knew, like, intimately. And I'll just say real quick, like, the achievement of this film is that I thought I knew all that, right? I thought I understood the person who made it, or really maybe you never even thought about deeply who the man who made the music was.
A real knockout. Good night.
And also becoming extremely famous because you're a master at something that is for the collective good, that obscures just like the person who wipes his ass and goes to get a drink of water and, you know, has bad dreams sometimes. That person is in 4D.
I just want people to know that I'm very sincere in my beliefs. And I pray every night, and I don't ask for much. I just say thank you.
I'm not professing to know everything that happened with this person. It's the best I could do.
To me, such a cultural tragedy that this movie is not emerging because it's just so good. But my sense is that they don't like this really complicated, checkered, you know, sometimes negative portrayal of Prince.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building. Well, I should say a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Londell McMillan.
Okay. Hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Londell is the jack of all trades. He's an entertainment attorney, but he is the editor. No, you're not the editor-in-chief. You're the owner of the source.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's the difference.
Yes.
That means I take out the trash.
That's
that means,
right.
I pay the bills.
Exactly.
I try to make sure I oversee editorial, try to build out digital, everything.
I just want to sort of like zoom way out.
Please.
And talk about the real problem here, which is that nobody is ever going to see this movie.
This is the thing I just find galling. I mean, I can't get past this, of like the short-sightedness of a group of people whose interest is their own bottom line. They're afraid of his humanity. The rights to this now are in the hands of the estate.
Oh, we're going to do many, many exciting things that the estate was unable to do. We're gonna have very carefully crafted, creative offerings for music, exhibitions, shows. We're gonna get back out there, hopefully work on some things on Broadway, films. We're gonna invest. We're gonna invest in that purple legacy.
I mean, the whole idea is like, wait, so the estate had, here's the one thing they're allowed to do, check the film for factual inaccuracies. Guess what? They came back with a 17-page document full of editorial issues, not factual issues. Do you think I have any interest in putting out a film that is factually inaccurate?
I think that in a weird way, I understand where the estate is coming from. I think if you're the estate, you are banking on people not being able to handle the full humanity of this, if you're the estate, this ATM machine.
Some of it is going to be a little scummy. But the whole point of it is the journey. And the whole point of it was actually reflecting a journey that he went through.
But we're gonna basically put a lot of love into this purple brand and love for Prince. And we want the full representation of Prince to come to light.
My friend, Londell McMillan.
Londell McMillan, who is a longtime entertainment lawyer, he said he thinks this will do generational harm to Prince. The way that the film deals with Prince's flaws, his difficult, complex, sometimes abusive relationships with women, the extent and the length of his addiction to drugs, childhood trauma, his loneliness. I mean, it seems to me that this is not the image of Prince that they want.
McMillan sees that potentially for Prince. Why isn't there a Prince Broadway show? Why isn't there a Prince Cirque du Soleil show in Vegas where his fans
Well, there is
a
Broadway show that's coming.
Oh, there is? Oh, there you go.
We'll see what that's like. Yeah.
I guarantee you that is not going to delve into whether he hit his girlfriend.
Can I read something to you?
I was wondering why your phone is out.
Jill Jones, who was a Prince protege, a muse, who spent essentially the 80s with him, was in the film, and to me, one of the most truthful voices in the film, and was someone who discussed in detail an instance where she was abused by Prince physically. And by the way, that's not the totality of the story of her with Prince, but you still see how much she loves him. But this is what she wrote after the news came out about the film being canceled. Prince was a man who lived under the weight of expectation, both his own and those of the world that adored him. He built a persona so larger than life that it became a prison, a gilded cage, one he could never fully step out of. Prince's struggle with drug addiction was deeply intertwined with his relentless pursuit of perfection, an impossible standard he imposed on himself to satisfy a fan base that craved his mystique, his eccentricity, and his ever-evolving artistry. The tragedy lies in the fact that so many refused to acknowledge the truth of who he really was. He understood this better than anyone. He knew that revealing his true self, stripped of the carefully crafted persona, would lead to rejection. And in a way, he was right. The recent choices made by Netflix and his estate only reinforced this truth. The world is unwilling to accept Prince as a man, only as a myth. Without the elaborate stagecraft, without the veil of mystery, his raw humanity is deemed insufficient. His struggles, his journey, his sacrifices, all the elements that shaped him will remain obscured. Instead, the world will likely receive a sanitized, polished version of Prince, a carefully curated illusion that erases the depth of his reality. It's like, what do you do with that? That can't be hidden. That's stark. That's the truth. The irony being that Prince was somebody who fought for artistic freedom,
who didn't want to be held down by Warner Brothers, who he believed was stifling sort of his output. And now in this case, it's like, by the way, I'm not Prince, but like I worked really hard making something and now my art's being stifled and thrown away.
Most concerned with freedom. Freedom to say anything I wanted to. And after much negotiation, Warner Brothers Records granted me that freedom, and I thanked them for that.
That seems like an exercise that can make someone not want to try and take a swing like this again.
Well, I mean, again, it was a 10th of my life. If you look at it that way, affects you differently physically, mentally when you get older, and like it affected me. So like, I don't think I need to do that anymore.
What the media, broadly speaking, what journalists really need more than ever are people who take that task so seriously that it makes them unhappy. If it's this painful, it tells me I want that guy to try.
But I also, it is that painful. Look, here's the thing. I'm sitting here doing your podcast, but like, you know, Caroline Waterlow, Tamara Rosenberg, Brett Granado, Gabe Rhodes, Ben Szanski.
People who made the film with you.
Marley Cogan, you know, Jenny Troyer, Deja Lee Carroll. They made the film. They were also putting themselves on the line and investing so much in themselves to make this thing. And the way you go through the world is to amass credits. People see what you do and they go, oh, wow, that was really good. You worked on that? And right now, this doesn't exist in the world. It's a big zero. It's a negative space. I mean, why can't there be, as Brett Granado, one of my editors, said, be nice if there were something on IMDb that said The Book of Prince, unreleased.
And to not stand up to this estate, if you're a company like Netflix, while you were also releasing all of these like hagiographic like propaganda, self-promotional, masturbatory, self-congratulatory,
predictable
documentaries, quote-unquote documentaries about these people.
I have the feeling that it's part of this bigger story of Netflix, you know, producing documentary film quickly, cheaply, at a huge scale. And a project like this, you know, I mean, do they value it? Do they prioritize? And I, you know, when you're saying we haven't seen evidence that they don't, but I haven't seen evidence that they do. And, you know, I think it's kind of a tragedy. Feels like a cultural tragedy to me.
And in what happens, that these streamers or whoever the distributors are, they get a film about whomever, you know?
Oh,
and
you're
like,
the incentives align.
Right. So no, and by the way, and at this point, the public doesn't seem to somewhere between care or know the difference. And that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
It's like this, they're being served slop and they're getting used to the fact that this is like, oh I guess this is like like short rib. And I'm like, it's not, it's slop.
I feel like we're dumb about who we are because movies like Ezra's they're not made, well, very few people are capable of making something like this. But everybody who makes a thing now is seeing what's happening to Ezra and being like, I'm not even gonna try.
The whole trick of what you do, what I do, what anybody who wants to do this thing that is not being incentivized by the algorithm, the whole trick of it is, hey, guess what? It's surprising how many people want this delicious piece of broccoli with cheese melted on it. I want people to remember when they are deciding whether this is just vegetables, whether this is the thing that people did not ask for, but they got because some guy feels like morally scolding them into caring about journalism. The whole point is that it can still be entertainment if you do it right.
And that gets back to the general breakdown that's always been between like, there are documentaries and there's a Hollywood movie. And so in essence, that's what we're talking about here. There's a Hollywood movie, which is a play on Broadway.
Yes,
and then
inspired by true events.
And so the issue is that now the estate is going to put out its own documentary, but that's not a documentary. Are you going to learn anything about Prince? I doubt it. Are you going to learn anything dark about Prince? I doubt it. Are you going to learn anything complicating about Prince? I doubt it.
The troubling thing, of course, is that it may very well be wildly popular.
Oh, it will be wildly popular. You know why? Because people want to see Prince, and deservedly so. The guy was one of the great entertainers, performers, musicians of all time. And that's what's really sad.
You know, like you see him perform in our film and you're like, I mean, I cried watching him, you know, in his 1982 performance, like during the Controversy tour when he was singing When We Were Mine. Would I have done anything differently in the process that led to this result? No. I feel like I honestly, earnestly tried my hardest to make the best film and reacted to the circumstances I was presented with, truthfully and honestly to who I am and my belief system as possible. And that I'll live with. There's nothing about this that I won't get over, though. It's just not really possible.
To go back to just the meta text of all of this, right? My think piece on this is, in brief, that of course Ezra becomes yet another character in the story of Prince. Is locked in this eternal battle with Prince from beyond the grave, in which they are both reckoning with what it means to make a masterpiece that cannot be seen from the outside. This is f***ing perfect. There are scenes in your film that feel like great scenes in sports movies, where the music is a payoff because you went through the journey of pain and suffering. And you do tear up, and you are in awe. The difference here is that that pain and that suffering really only pays off if you actually depict the pain and the suffering.